So, Grant, without
Yes,
further
sir.
ado, tell me about AirMart.
Sure.
What you guys do,
Love to.
and a little bit about the company.
Okay, great. So AirMart was founded by my father back in the 70s. So it's a 50-plus year company. So my wife and I took the business over in 2001. And her and I have been running the business now for over 23 years.
Cool.
We buy, sell, and broker aircraft. So we have a whole slew of airplanes that we sell. We sell everything from Cessna, Cirrus, Piper, Beechcraft, Diamond, all makes and models. One of the things we try to do is try to find a specific aircraft for anyone in the aviation community. So one of the things that I set up is we're unique in the way that we have each sales executive has a specific influence on a specific make and model of aircraft.
What's your feel of the used airplane market right now?
Well, obviously, we all know we just went through COVID, right? So that was a pretty exciting time for the aviation market. The good thing is economics are the same, right? So scale of economies, good old-fashioned supply and demand always holds true. So what we saw was everybody wanted to own an airplane during COVID. So as we all know, inventory shrunk significantly. So one of the little barometrics that I always use to kind of measure the market space is total supply, right? So for the single-engine piston inventory, when we were at the height of COVID, at the peak of the values, the peak of the market values, there was only 1,230 single-engine piston aircraft for sale. That was the lowest it's ever been.
Wow.
Everybody was buying airplanes. There was no inventory, right? So when there's no inventory, what happens? The price, the demand is so strong, people were asking just amazing prices for planes, and owners were getting them. Gone to your shop lately, if you look at the shop rates in the last 2 or 3 years, what have they done?
They've all gone
They've
up.
all gone up, right? So you can't have this huge erosion of value of the airplane because everything going into it is going up, so it's not going to go down. So what we've seen, the price changes that we've seen, the decline in the values that we've seen is simply more tied to supply and demand than it is any type of economic indicator. So we're finally starting to return to that normal where there's a good amount of supply, which is a market space that we love, and because a seller can get a good value for the plane, but more importantly, the buyer can get a good value for the plane. Doesn't overpay for the aircraft. So right now, we've got a really good transactional place where you have a win-win situation, which we love. You got a happy seller, happy buyer, happy customer. People forget, and they just don't know because they don't know the numbers. But planes are not built at even close to a pace of the automobile.
Right, for sure.
So they're pumping out 14 million cars a year. So the United States produces 14 million cars. That's what's done every year. There's maybe 150 single-engine piston aircraft a year. And if you think about all the things that can happen to an airplane, tornadoes, hurricanes, crashes. I mean, over time, they run out of time out. I mean, there's all kinds of things that is pulling those airplanes out of the market space. They get exported to different countries. They go out of the United States. So the values of the airplane are going to hold really well. And as far as, if we have an economic increase, you'll see an uptick because people will have more money to buy an airplane. But you're going to see a small change either way. We're not going to see some big, 20% down one way or 20% up the other way. So it's going to be a small change.
Now, I got to ask you a personal question.
Sure.
Dream for me for a minute. You have a blank check. You have, being a broker, you got a lot of experience in a lot of different airplanes.
Right.
You get a blank check. What would you go buy today?
Blank check. Today, it would probably be a TBM 850.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. So then, we'll rephrase it. Blank check, I go with TBM 960.
You got to go big. You can't go small. You got to go big.
A little too hesitant there, but definitely TBM 960.
Right. Why would you do that?
For my family and the size of my family, and it's just my wife and I and our 2 kids. So, a Pilatus is a great aircraft, but we just don't need all that space.
Right.
And the efficiency of a TBM is just amazing. So, as you well know, you train in them all the time, so they're a great aircraft. So I would say if I had a blank check, that'd probably be the direction I'd go.